Hey, good morning to you. We're back to the house and want to read to you. It's a lengthy passage. It's the end of chapter 10. Yesterday I read a middle portion and about how Peter was called for and had seen the vision, and now he's gone to see Cornelius. So beginning in verse 28, it says, "Then he said to them, you know how unlawful it is for a Jewish man to keep company with or to go to one of another nation. But God has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Therefore, I came without objection as soon as I was sent for. I asked then, for what reason have you sent for me? So Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour, and at the 9th hour I prayed in my house, and behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing, and said, Cornelius, your prayer has been heard, and your alms are remembered in the sight of God." Remember, same time that Peter saw the vision, he sees the vision. And so send therefore to Joppa and call Simon, whose surname is Peter. He is lodging in the house of Simon a tanner by the sea. When he comes, he will speak to you. So I went to you immediately, and you have done well to come. Now therefore we are all present before God to hear all the things commanded you by God. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, in truth, I perceive that God shows no partiality. Paul says this later on. God is not a respecter of persons. But in every nation, whoever fears him and works righteousness is accepted by him. The word which God sent to the children of Israel, preaching peace through Jesus Christ, he is the Lord of all. That word you know, which was proclaimed throughout all Judea and began from Galilee after baptism, which John preached. How God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit and with power, who went out doing good and healing all who were oppressed by the devil, for God was with him. And we are witnesses of all these things which he did, both in the land of the Jews and Jerusalem, whom they killed by hanging on a tree. Him God raised up on the third day and showed him openly, not to all people, but to witnesses chosen before by God, even to us who ate and drank with him after he arose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach to the people and to testify that he who was ordained by God to be judge of the living and the dead. To him all the prophets that through his name whoever believes in him will receive remission of sins." While Peter was still speaking these words, the Holy Spirit fell upon all those who heard the word. And those of the circumcision who believed were astonished, as many as came with Peter, because the gift of the Holy Spirit had been poured out on the Gentiles also. For they heard them speak with the tongues and magnify God. Then Peter answered, can anyone forbid water that these should not be baptized who have received the Holy Spirit just as we have? And he commanded them to be baptized in the name of the Lord. Then they asked him to stay a few days. What a wonderful passage. This is where we see that the gospel is pouring over to the Gentiles, the rest of the world, to you and I. We see here how much that Peter obeyed what he was told to do. He preached what he was given to preach, and the Holy Spirit moved and saved. Notice they were saved, they were filled with the Holy Spirit, and then they were baptized. They were marked to be a part of the group. They were accepted. Baptism is such an important thing that we baptize to mark the followers, the disciples, those that have proclaimed Jesus Christ, that the world will know that they are marked and they belong to Jesus. Beautiful passage. I pray this day that you will live a life as one who has been marked by the gospel, one who they know that you believe and they know who you belong to. I pray that you have a good day. Ask the Lord to bless you, watch over and care for you. You have a wonderful day, and God bless.